yesterday win? Did it feel similar to kind of last year?
Yeah. I feel like every first day, everyone's excited. There was really great energy. Everyone's excited to get back in the gym. I think more than anything, like there was a chance of us not having a season. So for all of us to be here, knowing there's a season, knowing we're excited, knowing that with the group that we have, everyone's eager, and yeah, it was a great day.
Did you ever think you'd announce your free agency at the Masters?
No, and what a time to go to the Masters without a phone. It was so funny. We would get back like 7 o'clock and just be on our phones for 30 minutes getting the updates on who's going where, what happened when we were there. It's crazy.
About that decision, what made this the right place for you to stay?
I mean, this is home. I think, when season ended last year, I knew this is where I wanted to be. I've been here for 4 seasons, and I feel like we had a great momentum last season. We're able to accomplish more than we had in the past, and I think for me, I just want to keep growing on that, building on that, and building with this group.
What is it about Indy that you've enjoyed so much that's made it feel like home for you?
I mean, the fans are great. From the moment I got here my rookie year, even though we didn't have the best year on the court, they welcomed me with open arms. Someone from the West Coast didn't have a lot of people here, didn't have anyone here really that I knew. They made this place feel like home, and it's just continued to feel more and more like home the last few years.
Obviously, last year was a little bit weird with all the injuries and things like that. But you kind of take over the team from last year that applies to this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think like at the end of the day, we built together so much chemistry. We were together through all the adversity, and I think from top to bottom, everyone stayed ready. And I think that's the sentiment that we all have moving forward. It's like you don't know when your number is going to be called, but we believe in you when it does. And I think that's just something all of us are taking forward into this season.
Aaliyah came in yesterday and she talked about being whole again, with Caitlin back and Sophie back. Just what does it mean to come in with everyone being healthy in training camp?
It's huge. It's huge for us. And, they all bring a lot of energy, a lot of, leadership and experience. And it's so great. I mean, we had them last year. They were vocal on the sidelines doing what they could. But when they're out on the court, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the locker room, makes a difference when we're playing. So we're just really lucky and really excited to be back to full force and excited to see what we can accomplish.
It feels like there's a renewed defensive spirit this year, especially with the personnel too. How much does that kind of excite you, given the fact how much you lean on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, defense wins championships. That's always been what my coaches have said through my entire career. And I think to have that be kind of our foundation and build off of that, I think that's going to help us with a lot of success. We didn't finish where we wanted to in the defensive rating last year within the league, and hoping to build up and get to the top of that leaderboard, both on the defensive side and the offensive side. And I think it goes hand in hand. When one works, they both do.
To go back to the Master, can you just describe kind of what that experience was like, given that you were also there for multiple days, it looked like?
Yeah, we were there Friday to Sunday, so, I mean, just a crazy sporting event. Unlike anyone I've ever been to, the energy is so different because you're sitting there and you're walking around hole to hole following golfers. You can just feel the pressure that they have, and they somehow are able to play with such a composed nature, and it's just so cool to watch. And it's funny because there's times out there when you don't have a phone, you hear a roar happening from a hole away, and you're like, what happened, and you're just waiting for the scoreboard to change, and then you see it. So it's just, there's little things about it that make it really special, and it's obviously one of the best sporting events in the world for a reason. Continuing to be efficient, I think that's the name of the game. Efficient offensively and defensively, playing defense without fouling, knocking down the open shots, spacing the floor as well as I can. Just little things, really.
Like making league history with that core contract.
I don't know if it's league history after I see everybody else's numbers now, but I was grateful. It was humbling for me and my family. You guys know what I kind of been going through the last 2 or 3 years, so it was big for my family, and I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish. But it's humbling because you see those kind of numbers and you don't think it's possible. So I'm grateful.
Given it's challenging, would you even consider anywhere else?
I think any competitor does, but for all the right reasons, I knew Fever was a priority. I knew that I wanted to kind of be a Fever girl again in a certain way. My relationships that I built with AV, CC, and even Lexie and Soph and all those guys, it was family vibes, so I couldn't I couldn't shake it and let it go.
What was it like for you as everybody else begins to sign also, and you keep this core that you're sitting there talking about?
I'm proud of the stuff that AB's been able to do and sign for, and CC been able. I think it's dope. I think it's I don't know, it's the future of everything. So you kind of embrace it, be proud of it. it's pretty cool to see.
Did you have conversations with Lexie, Sophie, Aaliyah, all that during the contract negotiations?
We did. We talked a lot. Me and Cece talked a lot. Me and AB talked a lot. And Unrivaled. As Lexie, we know we sat at the table a couple times together. We knew we had to make it make sense. We knew that we wanted to be together. So that was the easy part, being able to sit down and break bread with the people that you enjoy playing the game with. That was the easiest part of it.
So you guys talking like financials, trying to figure out roughly what the salary cap could look like?
I think that's everybody on individual. But I think knowing that we want to be together, we talked about making sacrifices for each other. We talked about being what we needed to be for each other. But numbers specifically, try to leave that to the higher power.
Given your perspective of being in the league and seeing so many different things, can you remember like that first contract and then now with the new CBA, and not just the money, but all the different things that have been added to you players?
Of course. Man, I remember I was making like $60,000, $70,000, man. So I know what it's like not to really have money, man. I know what it's like to really like stand from with your parents when you first got into the league. I don't know if NBA players have that luxury, to go and just buy their own house. I did. I had to go stay with my parents for my first 5 years of my career. So it's humbling. You think about where you came from and where you're at right now and be like, shit, I guess, you deserve to be here. But I've embraced it. People think I'm rich, but I don't know why. But it's fun, man. It's fun.
Did you reward yourself in anything?
I haven't. I was already, before the money even came, I was purchasing my first house. So when everything started happening, I was like, damn, I get that money back. So I was grateful. It was very fun for me and my family.
The way you ended last season with what you said might have been an overuse thing in Vegas. Does that change the way you approach taking care of yourself, minutes, things like that this year?
Jackie, I could cuss? Hell no. No. If I gotta do it all over again and let my body fall out the way it did, I'm gonna do it. I love the game that much. I love competing that much. Lord willing, it don't happen again like that. Hopefully it was a once in a lifetime thing, but I'm gonna down my sword every game, every time.
How long did it take you to get back to being able to run and
I would say like with the IVs and having to go like make sure I got all the scans that I needed to be cleared, probably like 2 weeks. So it was definitely what I needed though, because we have played so much basketball. I'm sure people took a longer time off for real, but I was cleared in like 2 weeks.
What were your impressions of having kids?
Dope, man. I'm ready to get the gang back together. You kind of just fill in and let everybody like feel themselves and fill out where everybody at. But I mean, I'm happy to have her back. I think she's one of the best PGs in this game, and so we're gonna try to do our best to rock out as best as we possibly can for sure.
You talked about getting your PhD in educational leadership. Just what inspired you to do that, and kind of just what's that process been like while also
try not to be naive. Try not to be ignorant within yourself. I know that the ball gonna stop bouncing. Anybody that recognize that, you try to be honest with yourself. And so, getting an education is just about setting myself up for when it's all over. And I have a plan. It's always good to have a plan, and my circumstance is different than other people. So, getting an education is big for me for life and for basketball.
Getting to know everybody last week.
Oh, it was good. I learned from a lot of the vets here. I was listening. They were giving me, a good welcoming. They were telling me how training camp was going to be. I thought it was very competitive. But it felt good to be here, honestly, and to play with these talented women.
The whole just vibe of it, has it kind of like hit you that you're like here now and in the midst of it? Or is it kind of like, hey, we're just taking it kind of day by day and see how it goes out?
Well, it hasn't hit me, but it hit me. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm in the middle. I'm kind of like just going with the flow, kind of just being myself, just always smiling, bubbly, always making people laugh, which I do that. I do a great job of that. So I think I'm in the middle.
Has it helped having a couple other former South Carolina players on this roster to kind of help ease in and ease that transition?
Yeah, it has helped. I think other people too. Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Carr, Lexie Hull, Kelsey Mitchell. They all great people to be around. They help me when I don't know things. They know the system really well. So I asked them a lot of questions yesterday. I don't know. They probably got annoyed by me, but I did ask them a lot of questions yesterday.
Steph talked about City specifically this year. What do you think, obviously, as Defensive Player of the Year, you can bring to that?
Yeah, my defense tenacity. I'm like a gnat on the ball. Every time when I get the defense, I want to be the person to turn people over and give my teammates extra possessions to shoot the ball or whatever that may be. But yeah, when it comes to defense, I think that's what I thrive in, which is getting defensive stops.
Best piece of advice so far.
Don't get too high with the highs, and I say this a lot actually. Don't get too high with the highs and don't get too low with the lows. Just be yourself.
For the record, I'm sorry.
I was just in terms of how did being a pro, how did South Carolina set you up for this, given how it's almost at a pro level, right?
Yeah, every day Coach Staley used to tell us to come in with pro habits, and I think, seeing training camp yesterday, I was like, this is how we practice. Like, it's fast paced, it's very physical. They did a lot of things, and every drill is intense. Like, you got to go at 100 miles per hour. So I think that's what Coach Staley helped us when it came to college. But just bringing your pro habits. Even it's days that you probably don't even want to be here, and you might not be yourself. But I mean, you have teammates who uplift you and who hold you accountable to things. So I think pro habits and leaning on your teammates a lot.
Do you have any inclination that the Fever were interested or were drafted? Did you have any of that going into draft?
Well, I was like in the air. I didn't know what team was going to draft me. Like I talked to a lot of teams on Zooms. We had really good talks, but I was definitely in the air. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what team was going to draft me. But I'm very blessed and very grateful to be here.
How long after the pick did you hear from Aaliyah?
Oh, it was quick. I checked my phone and she texted me and she was just congratulating me and happy that I got drafted.
Gonna have to power bigs again.
Oh, Aaliyah Boston.
That's what I'm saying. We just watched you drop some bigs.
Yeah, I might. I gotta get my weight up a little bit. She's pretty strong, but whatever the coach needs me to do, I'll do that. Okay.